Alright, welcome back to the channel, and welcome to the Costal Zone, the biggest show of the year. No, I mean, it's the biggest show. You know what? Fuck USPW, fuck SWF. It is the biggest show of the year. It doesn't get better than this. The Supreme Challenge, yeah, it's a challenge to watch. Total mayhem, that's a good way to describe it. No, welcome to the Coastal Zone. Biggest show of the calendar year in all of wrestling. But yeah, no, it's our season finale event. And despite the fact that I have tried my hardest at the end of the last episode to bury this card for some fucking reason, it's been a crisp 2 minutes since I recorded the outro for that and the intro for this. And you know what? I've fallen in love with the card. It's a great fucking card. So let's run into it. Opening the show, we will see Fox Mask 2 versus Tony the Wonderful. Fox's protege versus American Flash's new protege. The future of CZCW versus the, future of CZCW. I don't know why Fox Mask is in such a panic. His guy is the future, but whatever. Yeah, in Fox's own words, this is Fox 2's biggest challenge yet to prove what he's worth. But Tony the Wonderful is very angry and also very hurt physically, not emotionally. He's got the restraint of a lion. He's got the passive aggressiveness of a angsty teen. He is not emotionally hurt. He's just physically hurt from that pile driver. I forgot what I was even fucking saying. But yeah, that's opening the show. Following that will be the Inner City Express versus Gangster Nation. Gangster Nation were knocked out of title contention after losing their title match, and they tried to get the number one contenders match thrown out, which not only caused this match, because they accidentally, instead of getting the match thrown out, only screwed over the Inner City Express, but it also created a bunch of confusion going into the following match, which is a four-way, a 8 total person tag match, a 2 versus 2 versus 2 versus 2, where facing the Inner City Express and being able to thwart the ambush by Gangster Nation, the California Dreams won that number one contenders match, and then on the following week won in a 3v3, where on the opposing team there was the Beach Boys, so they did earn their shot. However, El Jaguar and Luis Montero Jr., who had been winning decisive matches on Coast to Coast episodes going into that, were like, well, with all due respect, and there isn't any, you two didn't really earn that title match, did you? So face us to prove that you earn it, and then the California Dreams lost. So El Jaguar and Luis Montero Jr. have earned a title match. However, right before that match happened, the Promiscuous Pillagers, who are the team of Hugh Dayask and his lovely girlfriend, Joanna Silver, kayfabe girlfriend, they had their debut as a tag team right before against the tag team champions, and in a shock, Hugh Dayask got a roll-up victory against the tag champs, creating this whole giant confusion where Sean McFly's like, fuck it, let's do a four-way. I don't see why any of these challengers don't deserve a championship match. They've all done their own to earn it. Let's do a 2v2v2v2. So that's going to be for the tag team titles. We are then going to have an all-out match. Carlos Barrera and Tigre Salvaje Jr. have agreed to go all out, hold nothing back, which is CZCW code for we're going to be focusing more on the extreme aspect and less of the X Division aspect of this Extreme Championship match, as Tigre Salvaje Jr. takes on Carlos Barrera for the championship. After that, we have the match between Heartbreaker and California Love Machine, where every single woman in CZCW will be at ringside for a lumberjack match to make sure that Heartbreaker doesn't do any more incel bullshit and cheat to win. So Heartbreaker is truly trapped, even though there's no cage, and he's got to face California Love Machine like a, quote, professional, as California has been begging for. Following that, we have Zell Quinn versus Frankie Perez. Zell Quinn, as petty as they come, lost a match to the SoCal Savages and got revenge by screwing Frankie Perez out of a title match. And on the final episode of Coast to Coast, he has acquired the help of Onslaught to injure and Pillmanize that exact same arm that the Dark Watch injured back in episode 3, that same arm. So Johnny Perez, he's written him out of the equation so that Zell Quinn can cheat during this match. That is essentially what we're building. Can Frankie Perez overcome the odds? In our semi-main, we will see Masked Cougar versus American Flash. We're running it back. This happened on Coast to Coast episode number 3. They were friends. They were teaming up regularly against Going Coastal and the SoCal Savages. However, so much has changed since January. And now the Masked Cougar has acquired the help of Fox Mask, who is, I don't know if he's brainwashed. Maybe Masked Cougar always thought this. He's an adult. He can think his own things. We don't know their relationship. But Masked Cougar feels like the past is trying to be erased. He feels like American Flash, who they helped, who they groomed to be this top star in CZCW. He has thrown all that away, and he's trying to push the past aside for his own personal gain. And American Flash is like, dude, I'm just good. I'm sorry. I'm just a great wrestler. And you guys are just old. So you can come at me all you want. But that's going to be our semi-main. Masked Cougar versus American Flash. And then our main event for both the Coastal Zone Championship and the COTT World Championship, even though this is the second pay-per-view in a row where it's 2 titles on the line, I want to remind, this is not because Frankie-Boy is pseudo-unifying both the Coastal Zone and the COTT title. Seth Whitehead has just earned 2 different number 1 contenders matches. He beat Frankie Paris for the Coastal Zone number 1 contendership, and he beat Cheetah Boy from Maw for the COTT World Championship. And both men have been pretty unstoppable going into this match. Frankie Boy, of course, our Lord and Savior, one of the greatest wrestlers I have ever booked in general. I think only surpassed by Fuyuko Higa, and that's only because that save has gone longer. So he's been unstoppable. He's been the champion since day one. He's barely ever lost, but who hasn't lost in the 2 months he's been here is Seth Whitehead. He is fully undefeated in singles, tags, 6-mans. It doesn't matter. He hasn't lost a match yet. So both men with a huge wave, pun intended, of momentum going into this double world title match. And yeah, biggest show of the year. Seth Whitehead coming in from TCW, and he's already main eventing our WrestleMania. I really TNA'd that, but it is what it is. So without further ado, let's welcome the Coastal Zone to the audience and get into this pay-per-view. So we're starting things off. We do have a pre-show match. It's not often the Apex Twins win, at least at this point in the save. But right now, kicking off the pre-show match, we have the Apex Twins defeating Komodo Dragon and Snapdragon Jr. Give Komodo and Snapdragon just some more reps in, even if it's against some not-so-great opponents. But having a match is better than having no match. So there you go. The Apex Twins defeat them in 7:45. Kicking off the main portion of the show is Fox Mask 2 versus Tony DeWonderful. This in Fox Mask's own words for his protege. This is Fox Mask 2's biggest test so far. Can he put Tony DeWonderful away? He cannot, as Tony DeWonderful gets the victory in 14 minutes and 15 seconds. Lariat clothesline, and Tony DeWonderful, since returning from injury, since having a fire lit under his ass, he has been unstoppable, winning 3 consecutive singles matches in a row, this time against Fox Mask 2, to open up Coastal Zone's biggest pay-per-view of the year. So big win for Tony DeWonderful, got the show off to a strong start, great way to kick things off. Following that, we have the Inner City Express versus Gangster Nation, and this one is just a wild brawl, but with by every asset of the term, I guess. I don't think that's the right phrasing, but these two teams held absolutely nothing back. They just clobbered on each other, held nothing back, wanted to show dominance. But in the end, only one team can be victorious, and tonight it was Gangster Nation who was victorious, just having more in the tank, more to gain, and more to lose from this match, as Gangster Nation still want to capture their first ever CZCW tag titles during this year, as they defeat the Inner City Express in 15 minutes and 14 seconds when Waylon Walls hit the jumping double arm DDT to get the victory. Following that, we have the clusterfuck of a 4-way tag team title match. Hugh Ask and Joanna Silver making their debut, winning those beating the tag team champions. California Dreams and El Jaguar and Luis Montero Jr. also earning their shot. However, when it came down to the 2 versus 2 versus 2 versus 2, it was the tag team champions coming out on top to win the match. Great wrestling, decent reaction from the crowd. The overall segment got a 68. Great performances from Hugh Ask and El Jaguar and Kira Lee and Sky Hermosa here. Sky Hermosa finally picking it up to get on the same level of her tag partner here. But no, nobody is able to overthrow the Beach Boys here. It was too much carnage for anyone to really have a say. This was truly just a fucking luck of a victory by the Beach Boys. Who knows what would happen if they just had their single tag match against the California Dreams, or a standard tag match against El Jaguar and Luis, or even if they got a rematch, now knowing what the Promiscuous Pillagers have up their sleeves. Just tonight, the tag champions stayed on top as they defeated everybody else in a 68 rated match to retain their tag team championships. But from going from one dominant team champions to another dominant champion, we have the Extreme Championship match. Tigre Salvaje Jr. Versus Carlos Barrera. Carlos has been one hell of an Extreme Champion for us in this save so far. And these two motherfuckers, they're going all out. They've pulled out the stops. They pulled out the thumbtacks. They pulled out the tables. They pulled out the chairs, the bats. They got everything. It was a hardcore match through and through. But as dominant as Carlos Barrera has been, at some point, everybody's luck runs short. And after 19 minutes and 35 seconds, we have a new Coastal Zone Extreme Champion. Tigre Salvaje Jr. has captured his first singles title in CZCW just a few months ago. Everybody thought this man's career was dead in the water. Gangster Nation forced him and his tag partner El Jaguar, the Wildcats, they forced him to split up. Tigre Salvaje had to go solo. And what has he done? He has reinvented himself as a singles act in record time. First taking out Johnny Perez, then taking out Hugh Ask, and now overthrowing Carlos Barrera to win the Coastal Zone Extreme Championship in a gruesome hardcore match. And we get an angle afterwards. Once Carlos Barrera gets to his feet, a man that shows absolutely nobody restraint or respect, we see Carlos Barrera eye down Tigre, the new Extreme Champion, and he looks right at him, and he shakes his hand. Because at the end of the day, Tigre Salvaje won fair and square. There's no excuses. There's no way that Carlos can look at this like I didn't lose, and he takes the loss on the chin, and he shakes Tigre's hand, congratulating him after a hardcore fought victory for this championship. Up next is our Lumberjill match, I guess you could say. It's a lumberjack match where every single person at ringside is a woman who hates Heartbreaker, which is every single woman on CZCW, even Kira Lee and Sky Hermosa. The only person I didn't put at ringside was Joanna Silver because she's probably a little busy with Hugh Ask right now. And the whole story of this match is that every time California Love Machine is thrown out of the ring, the girls leave him alone. He's just free to walk right back in. But if Heartbreaker is thrown outside of the ring, man, do they give it to him. After all the incel and nice guy behavior, it finally catches up with him. They give it to this man. Every time Heartbreaker even graces the apron, they go after him. And, well, in the end, there's just no way Heartbreaker can win a match like this. After 21 minutes and 24 seconds, California Love Machine hits the LAX departure on Heartbreaker to get the victory, thanks to all the girls at ringside, and I mean all the girls at ringside. There was no ability for him to cheat, no way for him to run, nowhere for him to go. He had to stay into that ring and fight California Love Machine like a man, like a wrestler, like a professional, like these two are supposed to be, and left to just his skill as a wrestler, there is nothing he can do that can even compare to California Love Machine. So after months of incel torture that California Love Machine had to go through and witness, he finally gets his win over Heartbreaker at Welcome to the Coastal Zone. Up next is another smarmy little shit versus a top player of the company, as Zell Quinn takes on Frankie Perez at the Go Home show. Zell Quinn and his new bodyguard or muscle, or we're not really sure what the relationship here is, Onslaught. They targeted that same damaged arm that on Johnny Perez that had been taken out by the Dark Watch. After Johnny Perez prevented Zell Quinn from cheating to win in a main event tag match, he injures Johnny Perez. He injures him. Him and Onslaught injure him. They Pillmanize the arm, and he is just able to roam free, cheating with Onslaught at ringside. It is truly an uphill battle for Frankie Perez here, as every time there's a hope spot, it's cut off by Onslaught tripping him at ringside. Zell Quinn with a thumb to the eye, referee distraction, foreign object. But it all comes to a head when Zell Quinn is looking for his finisher. Frankie Perez reverses it, the ref goes down, and Onslaught, he gets into the ring, and they're looking to do some tag team maneuvers. When Johnny Perez's music hits, and he comes running down with a cast in one hand and his non-broken arm. He's got a kendo stick, and he starts wailing on Onslaught, chasing him back to the ringside area. Zell Quinn is screaming at Onslaught to get back into the ring. He turns around right into a perfect parody from Frankie Perez. The ref gets up, and we have 1, 2, 3. Frankie Perez defies all the odds. Johnny Perez comes in with a broken freaking wrist to get the victory in the match here tonight. 75 rated match. What a fucking match here. Despite all the shenanigans and bullshit, the Perez brothers stand tall. And eventually, Frankie Perez, at the Go Home show, he said that he was going eye for an eye. You take out my brother's arm, I'm taking out your bodyguard's arm. So they roll Onslaught back into the ring. They have the same thing set up for him. Zell Quinn is screaming from ringside, "Don't you dare! Don't you dare!" But he doesn't have the balls to get into the ring to actually try to fight for his guy. He's just essentially playing distraction as Eureka LaBelle. As Zell Quinn is playing distraction, Eureka LaBelle comes in and is able to pull Onslaught out of the ring by his foot, and the heels are barely able to escape tonight. So while the Perez brothers do stand tall here, they aren't able to go eye for an eye, as Eureka LaBelle, Onslaught, and Zell Quinn seem to have some sort of partnership going. Who knows where this is going, but all we know is that tonight Frankie Perez stands tall with one hell of a match here. In our semi-main, we have the big blow-off. In our, I think it was second ever episode of Coast to Coast. I could be misremembering. Maybe it was our third. Who knows? We saw American Flash and Masked Cougar face off. Originally, starting the save kind of on the same page. They weren't a tag team by any stretch of the imagination, but they were absolutely on great terms. Ever since One Too Many Losses, though, Masked Cougar fell into this cult-like following of Fox Mask, as he has become convinced that the members of CZCW and the members of management are trying to erase the past. They're trying to push to the future by erasing the past, and they won't have any of that. They're refusing to allow any of that to happen. And it's all come to a head with American Flash. Fox Mask and Masked Cougar feel like he is the biggest offender right now. He was there as an undercard hand when Masked Cougar and Donnie J and Fumihiro Ota, they were running the company. American Flash was on the lower card, and they tried guiding him. They wanted to guide him, but now they feel that he has turned their back on them. American Flash doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about, and he's just defending himself. So, after a long winded feud, these two get back into the ring, one-on-one, not as friends this time, but as mortal enemies. And despite the fact that this was a 50-50, a clean, even bout for the majority of it, once it looked like Mask Cougar was about to lose, that's when Fox Mask ran in to make sure shit did not go bad. As Mask Cougar is able to get the victory with the I Am Cougar, Hear Me Roar, one of the dumbest finishing names I've ever heard in my life, after interference from Fox Mask. Fox Mask cheats, helps Mask Cougar cheat to win, refuses to let anybody, refuses to let anybody have any fun. I don't know what I'm saying. Refuses to let anybody get one up on his main guy. Yeah, his protege can go eat dirt and figure it out himself, but God forbid Mask Cougar has to win a match fair and square. What a shame. And we have Fox Mask and Mask Cougar celebrating their mocking and taunting American Flash, despite the fact that they just needed to cheat to win. It's quite a shame. Quite a shame and a sight to see. And our main event tonight, in back-to-back pay-per-views, we have a double title match, winner-take-all double title match. Frankie-Boy Fernandez is defending both his Coastal Zone Championship and COTT World Championship. This isn't going to be the memo going forward. You still have to earn COTT matches to earn a COTT title match, and in this case, Seth Whitehead had to beat Cheetah Boy. But Seth Whitehead comes in just less than 2 months ago and says that he's going to take over the company. And now he is main eventing, going from a recognizable to a star in that short amount of time. He is now main eventing the biggest show of Coastal Zone's calendar year against Frankie-Boy Fernandez. And in a match, let's see what it gets. In a 79 rated match, Frankie-Boy was really off his game. That's fucking terrible to see. In a match that had superb wrestling and good heat, Frankie-Boy Fernandez is able to defeat Seth Whitehead in 25 minutes and 5 seconds by pinfall with the dirt nap. Seth Whitehead was undefeated going into this match. However, everything comes to an end, and at the biggest possible moment, Seth Whitehead's undefeated streak has ended at the hands of Frankie-Boy Fernandez. So Seth Whitehead has had quite a run so far. His run is clearly not over, I forgot to put the final angle on the show. My bad. Let's just add that right now. It's just literally Frankie-Boy is the face of CZCW. It's literally just a celebration angle. There's nothing happening. Let me add it. 6 minutes. Generic works. And yeah, Frankie-Boy gets a celebration. 67 rated angle to end the show. He is still our world champion in Coastal Zone. The timing was just not right for him to lose the belt yet. Seth Whitehead has been incredible for us so far, but I don't want to just bring in a guy from TCW and immediately give him my world title. So Frankie-Boy Fernandez, who for the most part, this was one anomaly. For the most part, he has been incredible for us. I'm still confident that Frankie-Boy is the guy to march us forward. As we end the show overall gets a 76 rating. Pretty good stuff. I want to give Seth Whitehead, you are awesome. Malik Cash is mad about something, I know that. And somebody else was mad about something. I can't remember who. I think it was Kira Lee. I don't know. Scene please, scene please, scene please. We made $57,000 on that show. Good stuff. We gained another popularity point in the Southwest. We are now at 50. Let's get through. I do fear that I had spent too much money on production values too quickly, because we have been in the red for all of May so far. by at least 15,000 when I last checked. So hopefully the pay-per-views will save us. Hopefully the pay-per-views will save us. Alright. Yeah, so we're in the positive. So we're not going to be... I don't think we're going to be losing money. But I don't think we should be continuing to upgrade production value. Manager without any clients. You're a wrestler. It was Curly and Chet Chavez and Seth Whitehead. Seth Whitehead didn't want to do the job. So I told him he had to. I don't really care. I'll just do open for him. It's fine. But yeah, really good show. Honestly, I'm not going to lie. I am a little... It was our best show so far. But seeing that Masked Cougar creative finish flop was a little disheartening. Seeing Frankie-Boy be off his game was kind of disheartening. Wasn't a perfect show. Hopefully, next year, when we do Welcome to the Coastal Zone 2023, things go a little better. I just feel like we got some pretty shit RNG this time around. But it is what it is. Still a really good show. I'm still happy with a lot of the stories that I've been telling. So, yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this first quote-unquote season of CZCW. I don't really break up my series into seasons anymore, but it's still the season finale, so, you know, best show we've ran so far. Next show is, the next pay-per-view, is Surf Slam. It's back to the basic 4-week build, so no longer tapings that time around. Did any of those matches break our top 100? So obviously that was our best show. Frankie-Boy Masked Cougar, yeah, I mean, these are just better matches. I mean, yeah, if I don't get a creative finish, it's just kind of upsetting. Oh well. Oh well. Where did that match rank? Frankie-Boy and Seth Whitehead was number 5, or tied for number 5. Alright, that's enough stalling for this. I hope you all enjoyed this edition of the Push for Relevancy. We are very close to reaching medium. And yeah, I hope you all guys come back for episode number 14 on the beginning of our build to Surf Slam.